Hello everyone, and in this video I'm going to be walking through the Nano text editor. This is something you would do from the terminal, and I'm going to be going through some commands that took me embarrassingly long to figure out on my own, which is why I'm making this video. And so we'll get started. So I'm in my little Linux Ubuntu environment right now on my Windows machine, but you could be on a Mac or whatever. And so the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a test file. So I'm just going to touch test.txt. And then if we list it out, we should be able to see it. So I've got this test file, and then I'm just going to open up Nano by running the command nano and then my file name, and I can hit tab to autocomplete it. And so that's how we'll get into this. If you don't have Nano installed, Nano's typically pre-installed with a lot of the terminals or the Ubuntu instances, but if it isn't, you can look those commands up online. I believe it's sudo yum install nano. So yeah, so we're going to launch Nano. We're going to be editing this file, and so the thing to note here is that our scrolling doesn't work, and everything's going to be done by the keyboard only. And so the very first action that I struggled with, that I think is super important when you're editing text or code within a server from the terminal in Nano, is how do you copy something. So I'm just going to write out a test sentence. So this is my first line in Nano. This is a second line in Nano. And so the way you copy stuff is as follows. So I'm using the arrow pad, arrows on the keyboard. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the shift key, and then I'm going to hit the left arrow, and that's going to let me select or highlight text. So I'm going to select this whole first line. And then how do you copy? And so, you know, if you're like me, I'd say Ctrl C, but when you hit Ctrl C, what really happens is it shows you the cursor position, so it has nothing to do with copying. And if you hit the Ctrl G button to get help, you're going to look through here, and it's pretty hard to figure out where in here is copy. And you also see the little up caret. So up caret is control. So like up caret G means Control G. It doesn't mean the actual up caret, which would be Shift 6 on the keyboard. And then if you see something M, that first character actually means Alt. And so that's how you read this stuff. So reading this documentation is pretty interesting, but yeah, and then the way you close this, just based on what it's saying right here with that little up arrow or caret X, that really means control. So you're going to hit Control X, and that's going to close out that little help box that we just had. So now to actually copy this line, we're going to hit Alt and then 6 on the keyboard, and you'll know it works if it unhighlighted your text. And then what you're going to do is you're going to move your cursor with the arrow keys to the line you actually want to paste that in, and then to paste, you're going to hit Control and then U. And so that's how you copy and paste in Nano, which is very counterintuitive, I know, and it took me a long time to figure that one out, but that's how you do it. And let's say I just made a typo, so I'm typing out my name, and I'll spell it wrong. And so like, oh shoot, you know, what do I do here? I want to undo this. How am I going to do that? The way you undo is you hit Alt and then U. So it's a little bit more intuitive. And then if you're like, you know, I undid it, but I actually want to redo that, the way you do that is you hit Alt and then E. And so that's how you do this. And finally, if you wanted to search for text inside of your document, so you don't have to like scroll through, and you don't actually scroll through, the way you would do this is by hitting page up or page down, or just using the up and down arrows a bunch of times. So how do you search for stuff? You hit Control and then W. And so when you hit Control W, this is going to show you the instance at which it's able to find something. So if I wanted to find everywhere in here the characters NO showed up, I'll do that. And then if I wanted to see the next instance, this is the part where you will use your arrow keys. So when you hit Control W, you're really running the where is command within Nano, and then from there, if you hit Alt, I believe. So first you're going to search it, and then we're going to go to Alt, and then as you do this, hold down Alt and then use the up arrow, it will take you to the previous instance, and then when you hit Alt down arrow, it takes you to the next instance of that particular character match. So just do this one more time. So I'm going to type in, everywhere I see the letters IS, or let's just do like the character I. So I'm going to find where I is, and then I'm going to hit Alt, or hold down Alt, and then I'm going to Alt would be equivalent to Command, by the way, if you're on a Mac keyboard, and then you're going to use the up arrow to have it take you to the next instance of whatever particular match that is. So that is how you search for stuff and find instances of particular characters. And then finally, if you were coding right now, like if you were in a Java file and you wanted to comment or uncomment a line, the way you could do that is by hitting Alt or Command and then 3. But in my case, I am not really editing a actual file or a program script right now, so I'm not going to do that. But that is my introduction to Nano. It took me a long time to learn this stuff, so hopefully this helps you guys get started. And thank you all for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and be well. I missed some bonus material here, which is very important, which is what do you do when you're done editing your text file or script or whatever in Nano. And so the way you do that is fairly simple. You can just hit Ctrl O, and you can see that it defaults to the current name of that particular file. So if you wanted to update the file, you literally would just hit enter at this point, and you would have done this. And then once you've done that, you'll see it also says it wrote 4 lines. Now you can just hit Ctrl X to exit. And now if you wanted to go back into Nano just to confirm that everything is the way you expected it to be, that's how you do it. So I hope this helps. Thank you for watching again. Be well. Take care.